The people of the peaceful suburb of Amityville never forgot that fateful night in 1974. In a beautiful white house by a peaceful river, a nightmare began. On November 13th, 1974, the town was shocked to learn that 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. had shot and killed his entire family, his parents and 4 siblings, as they slept. There was no sign of a struggle, no screaming, just the cold weight of death filling each room. Ronald was arrested shortly thereafter. During his trial, he claimed that voices in his head had prompted him to kill. I thought the tragedy stopped there. A year later, in December 1975, the Lutz family, George, Kathy, and their 3 young children, moved into the house at a fraction of the price. They knew about the massacre, but the house was so beautiful and spacious that they decided to start a new life there. From the first night, George felt a chill run down his spine. He blamed it on the weather. But even with the fireplace blazing, there was a strange chill in the house, not from the air but from the death that emanated from within the walls. After just a few days, things went from bad to worse. George began waking up at exactly 3:15 every morning, the time Ronald DeFeo shot and killed his family. He felt something pulling him out of bed, forcing him to wander the darkness of his house. He became irritable, not eating, not sleeping. Something was eating away at his mind, bit by bit. Kathy had terrifying dreams. She saw her husband killing his family, his eyes vacant as the living dead. Another time she woke up to find herself slapped in the face by an invisible hand, a red mark still imprinted on her cheek. The children became strange. Youngest daughter Missy began conversing with an imaginary friend named Jody, but Jody was not a child. She described Jody as a big pig with glowing red eyes who could fly up to the windows. One day, George looked out into the garden and saw 2 glowing red lights staring at him from a second-story window. When he ran up to investigate, there was nothing there, just a strong stench of rotting animals. Inside the house, doors opened by themselves, windows slammed shut. Deep scratches appeared in the wood, like claws scratching the walls. One night, Kathy walked into the room and found the crucifix hanging on the wall, spinning upside down, dripping blood down the wall. Blood, was it really blood? Dripped from the ceiling, from cracks in the walls, and from the bathtub, though no source was apparent. They called in a priest to perform an exorcism. As soon as he entered Missy's room, he heard a growl behind him. "Get out of here!" He immediately ran away and then became ill and could not speak for several days. George tried to keep his spirits up, but one night he dreamed of holding an axe, blood-splattered, screams echoing down the hallway. He woke up, hands shaking, to find the family dog clawing at the door, something he had never done before. On the 28th night, the Lutz family fled in panic, without luggage, without locking the doors, without looking back. They later revealed what happened in the book The Amityville Horror, which was later adapted into a popular film. Many doubted the story was a fabrication, but witnesses, priests, and even the book's author confirmed that what they said was true. Even paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren entered the house and confirmed that the house was occupied by an extremely dark force. Over the past 40 years, the house has changed addresses and owners several times, but neighbors still swear that late at night, they sometimes see lights turning on and off inside the house, even though no one lives there. Nestled in the majestic Rocky Mountains, the Stanley Hotel looks like a peaceful ancient palace, but that appearance is just a facade. Inside, this place contains cold memories where time seems to have stopped, along with souls that have not been able to rest. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, this luxury hotel was once a favorite destination for the upper class. One more than half a century later, in 1974, writer Stephen King and his wife Tabitha stopped for a night at the Stanley at the end of the tourist season. They were the only guests. Stephen checked into room 217, the same room where the explosion had occurred. That night, he had a nightmare. In it, he saw his son running down an endless hallway, chased by a live fire hose. When he woke up, drenched in sweat, he went out onto the balcony to smoke a cigarette, and the idea for The Shining was born. But this is not just imagination. Hotel staff and hundreds of guests witnessed phenomena similar to the novel. The rolling sound of a night watchman once reported seeing a couple dressed in 1920s attire talking in front of the fireplace in the room when he went to check, but when he got closer, they disappeared, leaving only the scent of an old perfume lingering in the air. The hotel's basement is also considered a supernatural hotspot. It was once the servants' living quarters, and is now a maze of cold stone passageways where people have heard running footsteps, mournful sighs, and felt as if someone were pulling their hand when they walked alone. Room 401, once the residence of the male butler, is said to be possessed by a male spirit. Women who stay in this room often feel touched while sleeping. Some have had their blankets pulled and hear deep laughter right next to their ears. Room 428, though there have been no recorded incidents, has always been a source of tourists leaving in the middle of the night. Some have reported seeing a cowboy appear near the window, his eyes staring blankly out at the mountains as if searching for a way home. Tourists record strange images and sounds on their phones, but strangely many videos are blank after being recorded, as if the camera is not allowed to record something in the other world. Despite modern renovations, Stanley still retains its ancient features and also the spirit of the past. Local authorities have invited ghost hunting groups to investigate. The Ghost Hunters group has recorded phenomena such as doors closing by themselves, moving objects, and a white shadow appearing in an empty room when no one is there. Stephen King once said, "I didn't believe in ghosts until I stayed in Stanley." And if you ever get the chance to set foot in Colorado, try spending a night at the Stanley Hotel. Who knows, in the middle of the night when everything is quiet, you might hear light footsteps just outside the hallway when you're sure you're alone.